So I don't know if I even got a chance to announce who the winners were. Does everybody know? No. Okay. It was Lily, Party on Demand, and Sunstone. So they're going to come up here and pitch for 3 to 5 minutes, and then the investors are going to ask questions and try to find out like more details, and then the investors will pick a winner. So with that, as I call your name, you can come down. Jody.
Teach improv.
So Jody is part of a fund called Align Ventures. They do Align Partners, and they do enterprise stuff for companies who don't need to raise more than $10 million, which is interesting. Jody, are you there? Okay, I'll just keep going. Jeff Tannenbaum is from Blue Run Ventures. Ben Parr used to be chief editor of Mashable, then he was doing a fund. Now they're doing chatbots with Octane.io. Prashant is a good friend, and he runs the Thai Launchpad, which is their incubator for startups. AJ, we heard earlier, is now part of Pair Ventures. Matt Bornstein is with Bloomberg Capital. And finally, Raj, who's with One Prime Capital, formerly with Intel. Can you guys hear me back there? It's time. You can come. Hello. Okay. All right. Hello there. Hi, Jody.
Come on down.
Wait, we just need to sit down.
Come on down. Let's get down.
I'll join you over here. Come join.
Does everybody have a mic, or am I supposed to share with somebody?
We're good.
Okay. How about this? You can hold on to this.
Oh, thank you.
Our first team is Lily. So this is going to be a little bit more introduction pitch, and then the investors are going to ask questions. So Lily, come on down.
Everyone, my name is Purva. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Lily. At Lily, we use emotional intelligence to help women find clothes from their favorite stores that will flatter their body and also make them feel their best. So it's been 11 weeks that we've launched in the App Store now. We have 1 in 3 Lily users who've already bought from the Lily platform. We've sold clothes for more than $80,000 now from these top retailers, and we also won the South by Southwest pitch competition recently. So this product is built on a very simple but scary insight. Girls, as babies at the age of 2, start recognizing themselves in the mirror and start disliking parts of their body. At teenage, they start making relative perceptions about their body. They look at their moms, celebrities, friends, and start making perceptions such as, I have a tummy. And as young adults, these translate into serious insecurities such as, I'm fat and not good enough, to the effect that women in this country get 13 negative thoughts about their body every single day. Lily is changing all of that, and our solution is emotional intelligence. How do we do this? So we first understand a woman's perceptions about her body. So our definition of emotion is the difference between reality and expectation. When the gap is positive, there is confidence. When the gap is negative, there is insecurity. And so our first job is, through a very simple chat on the iOS app, understand what's the gap, what's the perception gap for each user. After we've understood that, then we use the most comprehensive styling algorithms that, given a woman's perception, will figure out what styles will necessarily flatter her body. There is a science to dress a woman that is going to flatter her body. Makeover shows use it, celebrities use it, there is a before and after. There is an objective science, and those algorithms make use of that. And then finally, we are able to do all this in real time, recommend people products from their favorite stores because we understand products in so much depth. For every single item available on Lily, we understand more than 1,000 attributes using deep learning and text analysis. And so, hence we are able to do the match of people to products in real time. We are targeting women in the age group of 22 to 34 who are spending more than $1,200 annually on clothing, and we can get up to 40%, 15 to 40% off the cut. That's our business model. And Lily is built by women for women. My team has expertise in personal styling from stores that are known for personal styling, like Aritzia, and behavioral science, and artificial intelligence, deep learning, But the most important thing about this team is their passion to help women be the best version of themselves. That's Lily for you guys. Thank you so much.
I guess I'll get this party started. So congrats on the initial traction. I've seen a lot of fashion apps, and very few ever gain large-scale traction. So can you explain to us your go-to-market? Why are you going to be the app that millions of people, men and women, are going to use for shopping, for discovery, and why are you not going to fail like most of the others have?
Absolutely. And so before I launched the product, I did a huge customer development exercise for myself to answer, why do we need another fashion app? And in that process, I've spent more than 10,000 hours asking women about what they were thinking and feeling the last time that they bought something. I've spoken to more than 1,200 women about why did they buy what they bought? And the reason why this will work and this is working is because it's built on the most basic behavioral insight in fashion. Women are looking for clothes that will accentuate certain parts of their body that they feel most comfortable with and hide certain parts of their body that they don't feel most comfortable with. And so what we are going after is really mimicking how the woman is thinking about her body and what she's looking for. And then the second reason is also that we are built on existing retail infrastructure. So our users already have an existing relationship with the brands and retailers that we have on Lily. We are becoming the experience layer for them to experience the products and find the right products for them quickly and kind of get to purchase quickly.
How do you convince someone to find you? First of all, what would they do to find you in the app stores? And then how do you convince them to actually download your app? What's the messaging you're using?
Yeah, absolutely. So the number one thing that has worked for us in the last few weeks as we've seen the traction is word of mouth, referrals. So as users get
How do you get user number 0? I mean, forget about the referrals. If I download it and say, Ajay, download this, that's one thing. But what are you going to make user 0 actually? What are you saying to user 0 to say this is the fashion app that you need?
So yeah, I mean so like I said, different types of acquisition activities that we are doing. So like for example, the most read articles on the internet with respect to fashion are 5 different ways to look like this, or 5 ways to wear this, or dress like this, and all of those types of things. That's exactly our product. So content marketing. So we are trying to become the #1 destination for educational content. That's exactly our product. Then retail and non-retail partnerships. So all different types of retailers are inviting us to their stores to be the expert on what to wear, what not to wear, both online and offline stores. And so what I'm trying to say is that for us to start with from 0 up, it is mostly going to be how women actually look for clothes. All those different types of activities that they do. I mean, and I'm also not mentioning SEO, SEM, all of the other things that we're doing, but specifically, so we're trying to mimic what women are doing when they are looking for clothes.
Can you explain how the unit economics work?
Yeah, so basically, to prove our hypothesis, we built this on the affiliate network, where we get less than 1% of the cut of the purchase at this point in time. As we have now sold and we have direct relationships with each retailer, we are negotiating the 15%. And so for every purchase, we'll get about 15 to 40% of the ASP.
And what is
AOE, sorry.
what is the cycle time to get paid for that? How sustainable are those margins?
So it's about, so we're yet to experience that with respect to kind of our first retailers, but it's a month to a 2-month cycle.
And how are you getting your data? Are you scraping right now?
Yeah, so APIs. So not really scraping. There's good affiliate networks that have access to the product catalogs that then go through our engines to get tagged automatically.
And what is the single value proposition that you expect your users to say, wow, I want to go to this app instead of going to Amazon or some other place where they could expect a much wider variety of shopping opportunities?
Yeah. So I think the #1 feedback that we're getting from our users as to why they love Lily and why they're buying and repurchasing, we have a 27% repurchase rate as well, is the fact that with every single product that Lily recommends, she will explain how it flatters that unique user's body. So our users are almost now saying it's boring to shop on a regular website, because I'm really looking for how does this work for me. So everything that Lily understands from the user, she gives it back to the user in every single recommendation. So I think the strength of our product is, so rather than looking at 70 pages of products, which we can also do, given all retailers will be available, but I think what we do is we help them figure out the products that have the highest likelihood of them liking, buying, enjoying, and feeling good about.
It looks like time is up. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
Hello, I'm Nazar Filchuk. I'm the founder and CEO of Sandstone. And I'm here to speak about something that will change the lives of millions of people around the world in the ways that are not imaginable right now. And that is the voice technology on the go. 2.5 billion people use their touch screens about 150 times per day. But for many years, we did not actually see that the voice and spoken language is the most common, convenient, natural way for people to communicate with each other. The AI makes it possible to communicate to machines as well. How would you capture thoughts when you're driving? Or you traveling, or maybe you're interviewing somebody, a patient, right? Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to meet Sandstone. It's the elegant, sensitive voice tracker. And the way it works is pretty simple. You put it on your clothes, tap and speak. Your voice memos convert into text on your smartphone.
Something. There we go.
Each note retains context of your emotional state, intonation, time, date, and the location of the note. On this side of the app, actually most of the extraction and machine learning is happening in the cloud. So on the app side, we use a lot of AI features that would provide you with much richer note-taking experience. So we ran a Kickstarter campaign to verify the idea, and we closed it about a month and a half ago. In total, we raised 350K with the goal to complete 700%. Was about almost 3K backers on Kickstarter, a little bit on Indiegogo, and about 3,000 pre-orders from the B2B, which is healthcare for now. I'll speak a little bit about the markets. Okay, so we'll start with the narrow markets such as journalists, bloggers, opinion makers, and other content creators who will use Sandstone in the normal course of their business. We'll then expand to such markets as special needs people and travel, which are larger consumer markets, more challenging, but you get a bigger revenues from these. Of course, the successful crowdfunding wouldn't be possible without the team, and this is 10 people, out of whom 7 are experienced engineers, and one of the co-founders is Oxford graduate. And now we're looking for 2 million to cover product development and scale. So I would invite everybody to join us in our exciting venture in changing people's lives.
What do you think are the highest value uses of that data once you've been able to collect and transcribe
we studied the market, the Kickstarter, we see two values. First is basically documenting ideas, thoughts on the go in practically any situations, maybe except under the water. You can't really do this. But you don't need to pull out your phone and start typing. It really eliminates typing in some situations, makes that simple. And secondly, as to the value, I think it's, the way you record your life experiences makes that so much easier. I mean, again, you tap speak, and that's the voice tap. So maybe in the future, that's totally eliminated, but I mean, typing. But in our case, we will start again with narrow use cases. In some cases, like you can't drive and type, that's illegal, right? So there's use cases.
So very cool product. It's actually incredibly simple and very innovative. I take a ton of voice notes, and I can see this saving me a lot of time because right now I use my phone. I think of it like a GoPro, but for voice. So how much, you said most of the processing is in the cloud. What's the actual cost of materials and production cost for this device?
Yes, it's something close to the product that you mentioned, although they're not the competitor.
Sure.
So the general price is roughly $100. The cost of materials varies. We're in negotiations with several manufacturers, including US-based and Asia, Singapore and China. It's around $30 to $50. So we're looking into the margin of about 70%.
What's the manufacturing plan? Who has experience on the team with manufacturing? Is your plan, where are you going to get it manufactured? How are you going to manage that process?
We've got one person who's a mechanical designer. He's designed 99% of all CAD files, which is the way which looks like, and that will be provided for estimate to the manufacturers. So he's got great experience, about I think total 10 years experience in production. So he's actually starting this Monday in China in negotiations with several manufacturers, that's China and Singapore, both.
What is your go-to-market strategy? What is the end-to-end, how you inform consumers and end users of your product and how you're going to actually get it to them?
So the first year we plan to do online sales.
And how will you
mostly
target
direct.
that? How will you target that? Thanks.
So direct channel. It's our website. So right now this is in-demand campaign on Indiegogo. In about 2 months we will line up the sales on our website. So Facebook seems to be working well for us. Instagram to some extent because it's a wearable device. We'll go with Amazon probably, as well as some other online platforms. We'll try to be picky because that's you don't want to go to too overstocking or something like that. So in about a year we'll go retail.
Long-term view on the business, is this a hardware business or is this a cloud services business and anybody can use their microphone to input the data into your network?
I would say it's both. So we sell devices, but we also sell subscription. For the premium features that we offer, it will be about 5 services. I think we'll have the premium payment charge would be about $10 per month. So that would be a recurring revenue model as well.
Do you think this will stay as a general dictation device for, do you plan also to have higher value add, like, dictionaries that are specific for medical or legal or other markets like that?
Yeah, so we do not plan to do whole markets at once. It might be hard. Plus, you may need a special device, design of the device for each market. this case, I think, yeah, I mean, we have the ability to go pretty fast. If we do manufacturing fast right now, we'll seize market by market. One by one.
Cool. Thank you.
Time is up. Thank you.
All right. Last company is Party on Demand. Willie, where are you at? Willie.
Yeah, nice. I don't know what that means.
See
I'm
why.
so stressed out trying to plan all the life celebrations. I mean, you got little Susie's graduation, you got Ted's birthday party, and of course, the Rams are believing. The Rams are in town. I want to do a tailgating party for that. I wish there was one simple solution for me to order all my party supplies just as easy as ordering an Uber. Exactly. The problem is simple. People don't have time to coordinate an event. Hosting a party can break the bank, and there's no easy, quickly way to plan a party. So what's the solution, Willie G? I will tell you the solution. The solution is Party on Demand, your one-stop mobile party supply shop, delivering the party to you in 1 hour less. We deliver tables, chairs, beer, wine, food, and a DJ right to your door. Now this is what the $51 billion rental industry needs. This is our secret sauce. It's automation, building on top of existing systems that already exist. So our good friends over at Grubhub and Uber Eats typically deliver food in about 45 minutes. Combine that with creating our on-demand talent pool, we got some of the best DJs, costume characters, and face painters. And package that with our vans that already come commonly packaged with all the cool things you need that are repeatable, reusable materials such as tables and chairs and sound equipment. We can now deliver the party right to the customer in 1 hour or less. Food, talent, equipment, and decor, boom! That makes you want to slap your mama. Our mobile app has 2 distinctive features. Our Insta Party, which we talked about earlier on, but our Planner Party does a great bang-up job too. For all of our customization, you're able to unlock some incredible features, such as a chocolate fountain, or even a photo booth, maybe a jumpy house, or my favorite, a sumo wrestler. All right, bad joke. Our app is very easy to use. We get 5 simple steps to take the average Joe and help them become a great party planner in minutes. Our adoption strategy is very simple. We'll be relying and leaning upon our great licensed partners that we'll be able to use their existing networks. The competition, we blowing them out of the water because Party on Demand sits in the sweet spot of affordability and convenience. By being one of the first movers in the industry, we're able to create a scalable and defensible business. By partnering already with Disney, Marvel, and more importantly, DreamWorks as well, we're able to create awesome kind of themes that will roll out. So every time a new kids movie will roll out, Party on Demand can now roll out with a new theme, a birthday party, or a party for them as well. Now, it's all cool to have a big dream, Willie G, but tell me how this thing is going to scale. Well, let me tell you, I'm so glad you asked. Party on Demand is a licensed play. We're going to use existing infrastructure that already exists. So third-party party planners already have tables and chairs and an abundance of that. In addition to that, we're looking to put together a small footprint to help with our quality control and deliver the party to our people right in step. So now, if capturing 7% of the market will yield 4 million transactions, with an average commission of $250 per party, we're looking at a revenue of about $1 billion by 2020. Now you say, man, you're shooting for the moon. Stop playing. How you gonna do that? Well, let me show you how we did that. So we have a proof of concept that just happened. In less than 4 months of growth has been explosive. We've already done 157 parties and generated over $78,000. Now we tried our goal was just to do 100 parties in 6 months, and we've blown that out the water. So our KPIs showcase that. We have 85% repeat customers and over 97% referral rate. Now we got an epic opportunity to do a great tailgating partnership with the LA Rams. So we're going to do a home gating opportunity that allows a party to come right to your door or at the Coliseum, all from the convenience of your app. With the partnerships from the FedEx, Kinko's, etc., we can customize the party and bring it to you. And lastly, no problem. My name is Big Willie G from Party on Demand, and we're delivering the party to you, and your best friend sitting next to you, helping you to celebrate life a lot more and party on, baby.
Are you rolling this out in region by region? Are you starting here, for example, in the Bay Area? I don't know where you're based.
Yeah, we're based in Los Angeles right now, so we're rolling out, our first goal is to roll out to each 32 cities that an NFL team is located in. And so currently right now, we're just in LA and San Diego at the moment in Orange County, and we're looking to be in the Silicon Valley area by July.
So the app is out, the app works, or?
App is not out, the app comes out in July. So all the KPIs you saw from there was a straight analog style. We went just to prove the model. We did it with a phone number and a website just to make sure that it actually works. To see if there's an audience that even will buy our stuff.
Quick follow-up, how many parties do you expect the average user to actually do in a year?
According to the American Rental Association, they say the average American celebrates about 10 parties and 10 events a year. And so we expect that at least on average, the consumer will probably participate in 1.5 parties every single month and a half or so.
Participate versus, the numbers you're talking about are people who actually throw the parties, 10 parties they throw.
Do they throw or participate? There's a difference.
There is a big difference. Actually throw a party. So think about it in your own life, from graduations, kids' parties, bar mitzvahs, etc. You're looking about an average about 10 events that you put on yourself throughout the year.
And how many of those are, do you think, last minute? Is that the main value proposition? Is it that?
Yes, we're definitely targeting the last minute, the niche crowd in that respect there, for sure, because a lot of things kind of handled to get that done there. And so what was the question again, sir?
Of those 10, you're saying people on average throw 10 parties a year. So how many of them are really in your market of their last minute parties?
So according to our numbers that we looked at and kind of research, we feel that we can target about 7% of the overall growth market. So we think it roughly about a market of about 30 million Americans.
So how do you manage supply versus demand when you're dealing with an on-demand marketplace and you need enough users to make sure that your suppliers are busy and enough suppliers to make sure that your users are happy?
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. So our good friends over at Party City have been really helping us to define that, because they're a seasonal business too. So as you go through the holiday seasons, what they're really showing us how to work and manipulate in that respect. So obviously you have Mardi Gras and the holidays, etc. We kind of rolled out those themes. So our vans are pre-packed with some of those items in the core, and with our inventory, we select limited, especially for the Instaparty situation. It's already limited on the van itself to where you can, so the options are not infinite in that respect. The Planet Party option, it gets infinite because now you have more time to coordinate it in that respect, in that regard.
So I have a technical question. Did you say you're delivering alcohol?
Yes, that is correct.
And are you a licensed retailer of alcohol, or how does that work?
Yes, so right now we are under a catering license to deliver alcohol, so we have to provide that for our ABC license in that regards. We're also using our good friends at Postmates and also Grubhub here in LA County. They also have their license to deliver alcohol and beer and wine as well.
Have you built any technology to help you manage all the logistics between all these third parties that you're working with?
Currently, we're developing, it's already pretty much developing our own proprietary system, back-end system to kind of manage all these different functionalities in that regard. Yeah, we haven't named it yet, so I can't say something sexy like it's an incredible sauce app thing, software. But yeah, we're just building something.
So of the $250 margin that you sort of alluded to, how does that break down? Where is that most of that coming from?
So most of that's coming from our reusable equipment, like the sound equipment, the tables and chairs and all the above, and more importantly, our decorations, because the decorations is typically a one-time use. This is one for Party City, and they have typically an upside of about 70% profit margin in that regard. So put everything together, we have an average of about 50% average commission in that regard.
So you have so you bring people too for some of these, right?
Yes.
And are those all on, like, are they going to be full-time employees? Are they going to be contractors?
No, they're independent contractors. So we created our very own on-demand talent pool, which consists of DJs, costume characters, face painters, etc. So very similar to the Uber app. You flip it on when you want to work, and then you're the nearest person to the party. You get the call, and you come rock out the party.
How much do you think you need to invest to build a huge brand here that can, erect a barrier entry around the business?
So we feel right now our low barrier entry to the market is $500,000. But we feel very confident if we're able to raise a total of $1.5 million in the next 3 months, we can definitely make a very, very brandable and structurable business and be a leader in the marketplace.
I'm good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
so
Time's
much.
up.
Okay, so those were the pitches. Judges, Jody, would you use Lily?
I can see my kids needing a party like that. Oh, would I use? I am the worst person to ask this. I know I'm the lady on the stage, but I'm like a physics nerd that hates to shop. So I think we need to talk to some better retail experts about this. I like the idea of creating more targeted shopping experiences. I would want to see more evidence that there is both demand and, more importantly, the retail relationships that are going to drive margins and sustainability for that business. So that would be my big question.
All three businesses on stage were consumer, and consumer is just so hard, and you need a lot of proof points to really drive up a consumer business. There are a lot of flaws with all three businesses.
I'm going to argue that, then.
I mean, we're going to have an argument there. I think all three have a lot of flaws. Only one, in my opinion, has the least amount of flaws.
The microphone company has an absolute enterprise level application for it. I could see, he said, 2,000 or 3,000 units were sold into.
In fact, I think it's mostly enterprise.
I mean, enterprise,
Right?
yeah. So the first problem is they're going a consumer route with Kickstarter. If they were pitching an enterprise route, that would be a much more interesting thing. And yes, they could pivot in.
That was his starting point. I mean, he was trying to
I think
validate
that's
the
super cool, and I definitely want to order one. I always have great ideas or thoughts, and I want to pain in the ass to
It's a
put my
simple.
phone down.
I don't get why it has to be a hardware device.
I don't get that either.
I have my phone with me all over every
It's
day.
like saying, why can't you shoot an action video with your iPhone if you just put it in a holder, right, attached to your head? This is a customized device for that purpose. I agree with you. In the long run, it probably shouldn't be a hardware business, hopefully not, where you can just let some other manufacturers, that's going to be a commoditized business. Let other manufacturers hook into your network.
Yeah, so then the pitch should be about the analysis.
Yeah, and the pitch was mostly about the thing that stood out was the hardware, not the software
sure,
analysis.
but
Just
This is
to be fair, most companies at this stage are going to present more about their solution than about the use case and market. That's pretty typical at this stage. One thing I would give credit to for every one of these companies that presented, they all were solving a problem they personally had experienced, and I give a lot of credit for that. I think that is the path to finding a sustainable business that's going to work. So I really liked seeing that.
I mean, I'll tell you, this is a party in some way, and he said that they did one for 2,000 people, so, I mean, it is a problem, and I know it's a pain in the ass
So,
to find a party.
go ahead.
Yeah, the party one is a problem. So here's the way I looked at the three companies. Each one is solving a certain level of complexity. The party problem is probably the most complex out of all of them. And so what I worry about on the party to go is, can you really put all of those pieces together to solve that last minute party issue? And there's an entire other question of how many people actually throw last minute parties, real parties at the last minute that needs that type of coordination. But let's put that aside and give it the benefit of the doubt. Can you actually get all of those pieces aligned so that you can get the face painter in an hour, that you can get the balloons in an hour, that you can get the caterers in an hour, all those kinds of things. So I think there's a lot of complexity there that I'm not convinced that an app will solve.
So I think
the same day version is one of 10 or 16 different themes that they have in the van. The ones that are 3 days in advance are a little bit more complex.
But I have I'm playing off of it. I have a slightly different problem. There's been a lot of Uber for X's over the years, and it's all the time actually. I remember a time when I was in VC, I got I think I got 12 pitches for on-demand food delivery of some kind, in a row. And look, the problem.
And apparently all of them got funded.
And then no one got funded.
Instacart was.
But so the issue here is habit. So I got pitched a whole bunch once. There was a period I got pitched on demand, computer repair. But that's going to happen once every year or 2 years. You can't build a habit. The reason Uber works is because you create habit over and over again, and you create large enough economies of scale and large enough logistics where the margins work, and you can make enough of you can have enough logistical data and you can have enough of the logistics for it to really, really work. There's enough people to go. Like, this will not have that. They won't have enough, there's not enough way to build up, to keep it on my phone, the app, to build up enough,
Awareness.
Both awareness and just like the habit. You got to have a habit-forming product as a consumer, and I'm not going to make that a habit. I'm going to delete it from my phone after 3 months.
So I'm going to push back on you a little bit. First of all, I want to disagree that the party problem is the most complex one here. I think the shopping problem is actually quite a bit more moving parts and more complex. But with respect to the party planning, I think part of the potential I would see in there is that perhaps he's going after too much right now. I don't shop a lot, but I do have kids that I need to have birthday parties for, and let me tell you, that is a fucking horrible problem. That really, if you could just limit it to like that, you could make a business to start with, I think.
So Joe Fernandez, the founder of Clout, has a business that sort of does that they announced recently. But they don't do like on demand. They do like you order and it goes it's all the stuff over weekends. There is absolutely
That's
a
what
business.
he's doing. He's
Right,
doing
but the
business.
on demand part is a major flaw.
I think the on-demand is challenging because in order to do on-demand, you need something that is standardized and tradable, basically. So it's
You
a
also need
commodity.
inventory nationally, which
Yep.
is extremely difficult.
Well, at least locally, you need a sufficient supply and demand inventory that everybody's going to be satisfied at any given moment.
Yep.
Really, really hard to do. I think that is, I agree with you, I think that is more challenging. But if there's one solvable problem of the things I saw here, and I think you're going to disagree, I think you're going to say it's the microphone, but I think that just solving my fucking kids' party problem would be awesome.
But would you do it at the last minute?
That's not would I do it 3 days in advance? Hell yeah. But if I could,
It's just difficult.
It's just
A
difficult.
Pizza and a cake and the
But it
chairs.
shouldn't be.
But that doesn't have to be an
It
app.
like breaks a marriage, it's terrible.
I understand. So that's a party planning.
It's Waterloo.
Service.
It's a party planning service. I mean, you have wedding planners, right? And so you can have party planners, and there are people like that who do those types of things as well.
Yes, but if I could have it all in one spot and just push the button, I'd be
There's also
thrilled.
taxi drivers. and-
But that's a simpler value proposition, right? I mean, what Jody's describing is something that's a little bit more complex.
Well,
The
that's why
coordination is
I
much
would
more. It's
strongly
what-
recommend to that company that they limit
What
the
they
market
actually
that they
with
do
it.
initially so they
Right.
can have very high quality, repeatable product, something that's recommendable. But I think of all the companies we saw, that one has the most potential to sort of package it into something that can be brought to market in an early stage and have repeatable
But what about the,
success.
what about the, what about the?
From the
the
microphone,
mar-
I wanna hear it.
What about, no, I'm not even on the microphone yet. What about the margins on the party planning service? I mean, how much are you willing to pay
that's the-
to solve your pain point? And are people willing to pay that repeatedly?
I don't know. We
Okay.
got to see that, right? Early.
Yep.
So we're investors in a company called Saucy, which is alcohol delivery, which is always probing that. And
Yeah.
the frequency issue is huge. We've tried to expand the market as much as possible by focusing on every single occasion off premise that you're consuming alcohol. I think a party is a subset of that, and the margins are not coming from chair rentals, right? The margins are coming from alcohol, maybe equipment, maybe DJ. So I think I'd have to rule with the cons on this one. I think it's going to cost a lot more than $1.5 million to build this into a sort of sustainable brand business as well.
Let's go back
Okay,
to,
if you guys don't mind.
talk about the one that you described, the first one, Lily.
Yeah, let's talk about Lily.
Let's talk about Lily. So Lily, they're here. Are we supposed to be talking about them in front of them?
They're going to be. They've been.
The mics are
they've
off,
been-
aren't they?
So as far as Lily goes, since you're there.
Since you're
address
like
you
staring at
directly,
us.
one of my concerns is the App Store, for example, is there's a graveyard of fashion and shopping apps, and customer acquisition is very tough here. And that's the part that leaves me wondering how fast you can grow, how sustainable is it, and making money right now off of affiliate fees is, in my opinion, not enough to sustain the business. So that's where some of my concerns are.
Obviously, I think she knows that the 1% affiliate's definitely not going to cut it. But I think it's kind of a cop-out to ask a consumer company how they're going to acquire users and question that, because that's every single consumer company has that problem. Not to call
Okay,
you.
so then
What I'm saying
let's
though
talk
is,
about-
but what I'm saying with a consumer company is what's really important is is the value prop believable, right? That's the most important thing. Do we think lots of people have this problem and need that problem solved? I think that's the number one
Yes.
most important question.
In my opinion is yes.
And
And I think the challenge with the presentation was it didn't answer that question. I mean, so when she got up there, she talked about the psychology that drove her to start the company, which was fair, but I didn't understand how that translated into why somebody, what's the messaging that they're using to convince someone to actually look for this application, and when they see it, pull it down. Because, most people, most of the applications that we've all seen as investors on the fashion and style side have always been about, style and sales and things like that. And this one is using psychology as kind of the linchpin here. And so as an investor, I look at that and say, well, how many people are thinking about their self-psychology and looking for an application to solve the psychology problem? And so I was a little bit disconnected between the initial set of why did you start this company to why would somebody actually use the product and actually hunt for a product like this to use.
Isn't the implication sort of, though, that you look better? That you're basically selling, look your best, and, this company could be a Stitch Fix without the cost of employing, thousands of stylists?
I too did not understand the direct implication of going from EQ to driving shopping consumption and margins.
so what I gathered was, like, you want to I as an insecure human being, want something that will flatter me, that will make me feel better, that will make me feel more confident. And this app will specifically be like, this is the product you should have because it's going to make you feel more confident because it's going to accentuate these really great features that you already said you really like about yourself, and it's going to downplay these that don't like about you, or it's going to be a match based on the psychology part. That's the feeling I got, and I think that there is an opportunity there. I guess the overall I have is all three businesses have lots of flaws where if I'm being a VC hat, none would probably get my investment at this time, to be honest, and that's the truth of VC. And then when you go a deeper level, then we have to pick one. The question then becomes, who is the founder that I'm going to trust the most to get the job done and do the most? And I feel like Lily's founder has done the most research, has the most passion about the specific one, and has the inkling of something that can turn into something bigger. I think all three have something, but I would trust Lily's founder the most from the amount of research that she did, and the amount of knowledge, and the amount of the passion, and why she started it.
I agree that the passion carries a company very far. It can only carry a company so far. I think the size of the market opportunity of shopping is huge, and there's a lot of room for experimentation there. So that's great. As far going back to the microphone company, I get excited about the scalability of what you can get out of it. It's a recurring revenue business. It is a service that absolutely is needed amongst a certain niche. It's not as big as the shopping and fashion market, not nearly as big, but it is a service that I believe is a habit-forming service, way more than clicking to buy a dress once a month.
But why not Evernote? Why not? There's a lot of apps.
I look at it as a Evernote for your audio files.
But Evernote has that. I think it ends up being a feature, not a full product.
It's about removing friction.
Yeah. I think what you're missing, Ben, is that that product was the best defined in terms of how it hits the value proposition of its set of target users, better than the other two companies. So there's a group of folks that will use that product all the time because they're constantly taking dictation, constantly doing notes, et cetera. But that's who they're going after. They're not going after the casual note taker. I would never use it. I'm a casual note taker. It wouldn't make sense for me. But for somebody like him who's always taking, you describe yourself as someone always
Sure,
doing
I'll be an
voice
always
notes.
note.
I guess I wrote a book and I did notes nonstop and I did interviews nonstop, and my process was recording them in Evernote, and then I used Rev.com to do the transcription. And I've been pitched these other services before. And I understand what the value prop is. I guess I feel I feel like it's a feature and not a full product, and I feel like it is potentially the smallest of the three businesses. I get where there's
I think it's the smallest. I agree with you on that. It's probably the smallest initial target market. That's why when I was asking him the question about where else can you go on this kind of stuff? I was trying to tease a little bit that out. But the initial target market is very focused, which is why I actually liked it as a starting point at the stage that it's at right now.
Well, if you believe in a world where at some point in the not too distant future, we all have an external brain that is searchable and records all of our experiences, and we use AI to search it and find and secure our memories that way, which I believe is a world that will be true for at least our children, maybe
That was a
sooner.
Black Mirror episode. I don't know if you watched it.
I didn't. but
Now we're
apparently
going
I
into
should be a
Elon Musk, Black
screenwriter.
Mirror territory,
I should be-
everyone.
That's right, I should be a screenwriter. Good alternative career. But if you believe that, then you should believe that the microphone is the largest of the opportunities here. What I didn't get was the sense of a clear go-to-market strategy, and that the initial traction was really well thought through.
I would agree.
All right, well, why don't we vote?
Are we ready to vote?
Are you ready, or is there
I
stuff?
thought there was a cage match, is that not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can do it.
I was playing to
Jeff
arm
and I
wrestle.
were going to fisticuff.
Yeah, I was playing to arm wrestle.
All right, ladies first.
I am going to advocate for Party on Demand.
Party man. Jeff?
Microphone.
You don't even know the name of the
I'm
company.
sorry, I don't. I apologize. My apologies.
Sendstone.
Sandstone.
Lily.
Lily.
Do we have to give rationale or just the name? Lily.
Lily.
Wow, all right.
There you go.
Lily, you are the winner. That's super cool. Congratulations. I have to say it makes me proud because I worked at Founder Institute early on with Adeo and helped launch about 400 companies, and you guys went through Founder Institute, so it works. So if you're starting a company, go through Founder Institute. Anyway, you guys, I want to thank you all. Thank all the panelists for all your great insights and input. I like Sandstone, but I wasn't gonna use it. I like Lily, but I wasn't going to use it. But I think I would buy a Sandstone. So, and you know what? When you launch up here, I will book a party with you, Willie, because you're awesome. I love your energy, and you're going to succeed. All of you, thank you so much. I want to thank all the volunteers, all of our partners, the team, Yvonne, Caroline, Alan, all the volunteers, everybody that makes this possible. It's a lot of hard work, but I want to say thank you. DevPro for the prize, Premier for sponsoring the lanyards, and again, all the exhibitors. Hope this was fun for you guys. We have a little after party next door and free drinks, so come and join us there, and hopefully we'll see you next year. All right, peace.